This movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is just a fantastic thrill ride from start to finish. I love all of the cast. The performances in this movie are just fabulous. Michael J. Fox was perfect for Marty McFly, even though he wasn't the first choice to be in the role of Marty McFly. He was really perfect for the role. And I also love Christopher Lloyd in the film. I think that Christopher Lloyd brings just a marvelous performance for Doc Brown, and the two of them have amazing chemistry. You buy their friendship, you care about these characters, and you enjoy seeing them on screen. The entire cast of this movie, man, is just really great. Crispin Glover is really just unusual and terrific as George McFly. I really enjoy him, even though he has sort of soured on Back to the Future because they recasted him in Back to the Future Part 2 and they replaced him, and he wasn't too happy about that. They used his likeness and he was angry and he didn't like the performance in Back to the Future Part 2 of George McFly, and people still think to this day that he's in Back to the Future Part 2, and he didn't like that. Lea Thompson as Marty McFly's mother is really fantastic. She is really entertaining. I like her in the role. Her crush on her son is just hilarious in this movie. This movie actually breaks grounds, especially for the time it came out. It came out in 1985, and there are some really just weird things in this movie, some taboo things in this movie, and I like it. I think that it is so much fun. Thomas F. Wilson, who plays Biff, might just be my favorite character of the movie. I love Biff in this film, and I love Tom Wilson as Biff. And I love Tom F. Wilson in real life as well. If you don't know the actor, he invented a song because he's just tired of the same question that people ask him over and over again about Back to the Future. And this song is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, here's a clip.
When I'm flying in a plane or I'm on the street, there's a lot of friendly people that I like to meet. They shake my hand but never ask my name, and they start asking questions that are always the same. Hey, what's Michael J. Fox like? He's nice.
It is just gold. The entire cast works for this movie, and the story structure of Back to the Future is just amazing. It really is just an entertaining film from start to finish. You follow this kid, Marty McFly. He tries to get into this band at the beginning. This judge is actually Huey Lewis, which I think is funny. And Huey Lewis actually performs two songs in Back to the Future. He performs The Power of Love, which I think is still a fantastic song, and Back in Time, which is like the ending song of the film, which I think fits perfectly. And so Marty McFly, he wants to be a musician. The judges, they tell him that he's too darn loud and they don't like his music. He gets rejected, and then he goes to the Twin Pines Mall and he meets Doc Brown, who has turned his DeLorean into a time machine. And this scene is just so much fun. Just a terrific setup. The setup of Back to the Future is just awesome. It's a perfect setup. You care about these characters already, and you haven't met Doc Brown yet, but when you meet Doc Brown, this eccentric scientist, you immediately wonder how did these two meet? But then you sort of think about what happened in the past and how Marty came to Doc Brown's house, and that's how they met. Marty met Doc Brown when he went to the past. So yeah, these two have excellent chemistry. The dog, Einstein, gets sent back to the past, and you think that the dog gets killed, but he comes back safely, thank God. And yeah, the next scene where the Libyans come in and they shoot the dog, and Marty needs to get out of there, and he accidentally heads back to 1955 because that was the date that was set there. It is incredible. It's just really exciting stuff. And then Marty is now in 1955, and the movie is just really entertaining. It's a bit of a fish out of water scenario because Marty McFly is not used to this time period, and he meets his mom there, played wonderfully by Lea Thompson, who falls in love with him because her dad hits him with the car, and her dad actually first hit George McFly with the car, and that's why she falls in love with her own son. And it is weird, it is awkward, and I really like all of these scenes. I love Crispin Glover's performance in the film. I think that he was terrific as George McFly, this awkward kid who is also a peeping Tom, and he doesn't have any like really good qualities except that he's a writer. He loves to write stories, and he actually becomes a writer at the end of the film. And Marty McFly needs to help George McFly with his confidence so that his father and mother can fall back in love. Because his mother is now just hugely in love with Marty, and she doesn't know that he's her son. And so Marty McFly spends the entire week back in 1955 trying to get his mother and father back together. Otherwise, he is gonna get wiped from existence. His entire family, his entire siblings are gonna get wiped from existence. The comedy is just so well done too. The jokes land, everything is perfect. I don't know what it would have been like if they had kept Eric Stoltz in the picture. I feel like it wouldn't have been as funny, and I feel like the comedy wouldn't have hit as much. George McFly also meets Biff in this diner scene. I really enjoy the diner scene. I think it's a really well done scene. Marty McFly has no problem standing up to Biff. He isn't afraid of Biff. And I love the alien scene where Marty McFly dresses up as an alien, and he wants to convince his dad to ask Lorraine out to the dance. And he tells his dad that he's Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan, and it terrifies George. And at least George has now the balls to ask Lorraine out to the dance. It's great stuff. It's great writing. And so Marty McFly and Doc Brown, they try to figure out a way to bring Marty back to the present, and they discover that they need lightning to propel the DeLorean back into 1985. They find the correct date, and it's when the clock tower gets hit by lightning. And so together they try to make this experiment work, and I love the finale of this movie. The finale of Back to the Future is just super exciting. There's also this amazing scene where George McFly sees Biff like going to almost rape Lorraine in the vehicle, and he goes to Biff and he hits him, and he saves Lorraine, and that's how they fall in love in this timeline. It's funny because Thomas F. Wilson, he says that one punch from Crispin Glover would have never knocked him out, and that's hilarious to me. Lorraine and George McFly, they fall back in love together, and there's this like awkward scene during the dance where this kid he grabs Lorraine, and like there's this added tension that you just really don't need in this finale, and thankfully, Marty isn't wiped out of existence. And I love when Marty sings Johnny Be Good. It is just a fantastic scene. Michael J. Fox really sings the song well, and he is just so energetic, and he performs this character so perfectly. And I love that everybody's like in disbelief at the end of Marty's song. They don't really understand the music quite just yet, because it's music from the future. I think that it's a hilarious scene. I don't really love the cousin Barry scene. It just doesn't work in my opinion. It feels kind of forced. It's just whatever. Marty tries to warn the dog because he knows that the dog is going to die, but the dog won't read the letter that Marty gave him. He rips it to shreds. The clock tower scene is just incredible. It is awesome. Doc Brown climbs at the top of the clock tower, and he's trying to put the two cables together, and the cables falls, and sparks fly, and they need to time it perfectly. They don't time it perfectly, the DeLorean won't get hit by the lightning, and it is just super exciting. The Doc manages to get the cables together, and the lightning strikes, and the DeLorean gets hit back to 1985. And so Marty McFly gives himself like 10 minutes, but like, why won't you give yourself like, I don't know, 2 hours before going there? That doesn't make any sense. He gives himself 10 minutes, and then he arrives too late to save the dog. The dog gets shot by the Libyans. And the dog is fine. He read the letter, he taped it back together, bits and pieces. I love that the dog is contradictory here. Like, he doesn't give a shit about what he said. And he brings Marty back home, and Marty arrives home, and he discovers that his life is just super different now, because his father actually stood up for himself, and he and Lorraine fell in love without it being like an accident, and he saved her from Biff, and now his life is super different, and his father is a successful writer, and his siblings are all successful. And what I don't really think is perfectly handled here is like this new version, this new reality. Like, I think that Marty would have had a bigger reaction, and I understand that like this is a better life for him, but his siblings, his parents, these are versions of his siblings and his parents that he never knew, and I think that he would probably have freaked out just a little bit more. And there's something else that I think bugs me from Back to the Future, and it's this, and it's that Lorraine and George, they don't remember having met somebody called Marty that looks exactly like their son in 1955. And I get it that a long time has passed, but they give him the same name, Marty McFly. And so I just don't believe the explanation that Bob Gale gave us, that they don't remember him like they would have remembered him. And I just think that it is a flaw in the script. It's not a perfect script. Like I said, the ending sort of doesn't work all that much, but you accept it because this movie is just so much fun. And I think that it is just a really fantastic film all around. And the performances, the score, the direction by Robert Zemeckis is just fantastic. It is one of the best films ever made, in my opinion. There's nothing quite like Back to the Future. There's been a lot of time travel movies since then, but I think this is the king of the time travel films. It is the best one for sure. I love this movie. I think it is just a perfect comedy. It is a romance film as well, and it is a science fiction film as well. Now, the ending is hilarious. It's like not even a real ending. It was just made as sort of a joke. Doc Brown comes back, and he tells Marty that his kids are in trouble in the future and that they need to go and save them, which doesn't really make any sense because there's really no urgency here. Like, they didn't need to go immediately to the future. Like, they're not really impacted by the future. So I think that it's hilarious that they go to the future. And I love the final line, roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. It is absolutely fantastic. It's a funny line. And the music, it just swells up, and it makes you hungry for the next chapter. And what I love about this is that Michael J. Fox, he didn't even know that there was going to be a Back to the Future Part 2. He found it out when he watched the VHS tape, where it said like to be continued at the end, and I think that's a pretty funny. So yeah, Back to the Future Part 1 still holds up. It's still an amazing film, in my opinion. There's nothing quite like it. I love the romance of the film. I love the humor, the music. And I give this movie an A. It's still incredible, and I still have a blast watching this entire trilogy. And let me know what you thought about Back to the Future down in the comments below. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.